Drogba indirdi ceza. Snyder. Snyder gol! Allah'ım gol! Sarıyoglu. Drogba! This is incredible!
Hey, welcome back to the Lion's Den. This is episode 4, part 2. We're going to move on from where we left off and start checking the squad from the midfield onwards. So, I hope you enjoy. But yeah, no, I cannot go into the details. Let's move to the midfield. I think when we listed all these names, one of the main things that I noticed is how much players we have in most of the positions, but how much players we don't have in the midfield position.
It's barren.
I mean, yeah, it's bare bones. It's bare bones. Looking at the central defensive midfields, yeah, we got Taylan Antalyalı, who's 27. I won't voice what I've put in my notes. I don't think that's PG.
He's not adamın dibi. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, let's put it that way. Especially this season. Bartu Elmas, also not adamın dibi, 18 years old. If you ask me, no matter how good he is, about all the news about his character is not good. If you ask me, it's like unprofessional, or he doesn't love Gese as much as most of us do. Anyway, those two we have on center the defensive midfield, and then one name I never heard was Abdülsamet Karnucu, 21 years old, rented to Tarsus İdman Yurdu, and Gustavo Assuncao, who's 21, left back to Portuguese league Famalicão. This is also a confirmed thing. His loan ended and he went back. We didn't do anything with him.
The legend.
And that's basically the center defensive midfield. And then if you look at CM position, you'd say we have Alexandru Çikoldao, 24 years old, Berkan Kutlu, 24 years old, both obviously first 11. And then Aytaç Kara, also at 28 years old. So that's it. And that's a big midfield that needs to be covered, and you can only count like 3 players that basically play there.
Only 3 players.
Taylan, Alexandru, and Berkan. You have Aytaç, and Bartu is...
I don't count either of those.
Basically 4 players. Yeah. So, go ahead. Do you think we need more transfers in the midfield?
I mean, it's a rhetorical question, right? Because you just literally named 3 guys that can only play. They're like first, team players. Of course we need more transfers. First of all, Thailand is not even a real CDM. And he's made so many mistakes this season. I can't count it with my 2 hands. That's how many mistakes he made alone. And Alex is Jaldao by himself. If he's injured, we really don't even have a replacement for him. Berkan, same. We definitely need more players there.
Yeah, I think. If I can jump in, I think that position, right in the middle of the pitch, or sitting right in front of our back line there. Not only is that one of the most crucial positions on the pitch, but we're so thin there, and just using Taylan, just like Emre mentioned, there's so many mistakes that he's made. And last episode we were talking about how he basically gave away the 3 points and this and that. So there needs to be a transfer there. Like I don't believe we have any players to sort of put there or to makeshift or anything like that. I think that we need there must be a transfer in that position, and I think we're going to continue to struggle a lot if we don't do that. So there's a few names floating around. Maybe in a second Samet can go through that, but I think there needs to be a transfer there, and it has to be fast, and I think it has to be someone that's capable and has experience in that position. I don't think now is not really the time to mess around, especially so close to relegation. But I think we're desperate for someone there for sure.
on CDM.
Yeah.
All three positions, right? Just centrally and CDM as well, right? I mean, both would need some strengthening.
I think
so aside from the confirmed Gustavo Asuncao that left, do we have any confirmed transfers in the midfield?
No.
As far as I know,
confirmed.
What about? I think I saw I just a few hours ago a few tweets from some sources. What's his name? Erick, Pulgar, Fiorentina. I didn't have time to check his details. I don't know if you know more about it.
You said confirmed. Like, we don't have any confirmed, but rumor-wise, yes, I also heard of this guy from Fiorentina. Don't know much about him. I don't know if anybody else knows.
Yeah, aside from the basic stuff, I mean, Chilean midfielder, 28 years old from Fiorentina. I don't know too much about him. I haven't seen him play. I can't imagine that he would be worse for our squad. So we'll see how that works out. But we need something to bolster up that middle. Like, I'm fine. I like Berkan. I like Chicaldao. I like both of them. But that position is so crucial when in our build up. Like, our center backs playing through that player and that player distributing and making the right decisions to keep possession of the ball. Absolutely so crucial that we're missing. So if this Erick Pulgar, if this is the player to do it, then fantastic. But I'd like to see a transfer as soon as possible. And I'm not sure do you guys know how many days are left in the transfer window now?
Ends at February 2nd, if I'm correct. Yeah.
February. Oh, so there's two or 3 days
left.
left.
That's for UEFA, right? That's for UEFA. Yeah. That's not for the league.
Oh, right,
exactly.
right.
That is true. That is true. But I'd assume we want to make the transfer before the second to, unless we're just going to forfeit our position in the Europa League, right? Like, I don't know if I want to go with Thailand against, I don't know, potential Barcelona.
Yeah. Just to continue off what you guys said, I'm looking at these three positions, and I think the biggest weakness is the DM position. You have Thailand and Berkan, who have rotated in that position the first 6 months of the season, and although they're not bad players, we saw their weaknesses in that position as opposed to playing, let's say, a number 8 on the field behind Chicaldao or next to Chicaldao. With that said, I think if we can find a CDM who is actually a CDM, who is aggressive, who can go into challenges and take his own spot in that midfield and let players like Berkan and Chicaldao and Thailand play a little bit in front of him more freely, it's going to make the world's difference. I think the CDM position, assuming you're playing a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-1-4-1, if he's playing alone in front of that defense, he is arguably the most important person on the field because he connects your defense to your offense. He builds that bridge between them. He takes the ball from your center backs and places it out wide, right? So an attribute that we like about our defensive midfielders, not only is he somebody who can go into challenges, but also distribute not just in front of them, but out wide too. Those long balls, out wide. If you see Kerem making a long run down the sideline, he can pass that, something that Fernando was excellent at. And that's something that I believe Erick is good at least that's what I've read so far. He's good at passing that ball down the line out wide. He's good at getting into those aggressive positions and winning those 50-50 balls. He's also good at scoring goals too, not just from penalties and from free kicks, which is awesome, right? But he's also good at scoring goals from corner kicks. He's that guy that's going to, make a mess in the opponent's box and make it difficult for defenders to defend him and mark him. He scores a lot of goals for both international as well as club on those corner kicks, and that's something that we've been lacking in. And with that said, going back to my comment about our financial situation, so far our rumors is mostly around the CDM position. There's Jetson involved too. If you guys, I'm just throwing a hypothetical question out there. If you guys were to make one transfer, would you focus on a versatile midfielder that can play DM, right center mid, left center midfield, and even like a number 10? Or would you focus on a very good defensive midfielder?
I want to focus in. I want to focus in for sure. Like if you look at like let's take two players for example, Felipe Melo and Fernando, right? Felipe Melo is probably he's probably my favorite player, like one of my favorite players ever for Galatasaray. Like I love him. I love everything about him. And then Fernando came and he was almost a more refined version of Felipe Melo without the couple screws loose that Felipe had in his head. He was a bit more level-headed,
The anger
but still really
tantrums.
good. Yeah, exactly, right? And that is their position. That's where they play. That's their bread and butter, right? They've made a living playing in that position. And I think we need that. I don't think we need that like versatile guy. I think right now we need someone, the anchor right there in the middle. That's his position. And like you mentioned, Yasin, like someone that has that those physical attributes that can win us the ball, and someone that's comfortable playing in those pockets, right? Like right in front of the back line and right behind the two strikers that are or the one or two strikers, whatever, that are pressing our back line. That pocket right there where Tylon gave the ball away last week. Someone that's calm and can collect themselves there and can make the right decisions. I don't think we should be messing around with, this player is really good and maybe we can use him in that position. Like, no, I think we need a true number 6, that defensive midfielder, someone that is true to that position. I don't know if you guys agree, or what do you guys think, especially regarding Jedson?
I mean, in my ideal world, I would want both. And I've been saying that this team definitely needs a number 6. First off, number 6, and then a player like Jedson. But going back to your guys, of course we need a number 6. However, I don't know. Maybe this kid is good, Erick Pulgar. I'm looking at his stats right now, and it's saying he's been on the bench for Fiorentina for quite a while. He came back from he was injured on the 24th of October. He came back to the first team on the 5th of December, and he's been on the bench till January 17th, and just recently he just played a national game for Chile on the 27th. So I don't know if he's completely fit for our team as of yet. If it's a completely if it was a player like Fernando ready to go playing, at the top level, then I would say yes, him. I want him and only him right now. But I don't know. Hopefully he's good. But if you were to ask me, yes, I would probably pick a number 6 over Gedson. But I would really like to have Gedson.
For me, something about Erick Pulgar, what you mentioned. If you look 2 years back, you see he had 35, 37 games, 7 goals, 6 assists. That's what we're looking for, right? Mm-hmm. A midfield that can contribute also in scoring and assisting. At the moment, we are lacking that big time. Taylan and Berkan are not it. Might be decent subs, but they're not contributing to that, to the assists or the goals. Chikildao, he has some good fair stats. So, and I actually like him. It reminds me a bit of Selçuk, if you ask me. So we need someone that can complement him in that position. And can Erick Pulgar be that person at center defensive midfield? If you look at his 2019-2020 stats, I'd say excellent. But he might come back to that level again. That's what we're known for, right? Getting Felipe Melo while he was chosen worst midfielder of the year, I think.
Yeah.
And his aggressiveness, I think he kicked someone at the Dutch national team as well when he played for Brazil.
During the World Cup.
Yeah. So, that's also our bread and butter. We don't have money. That's the only way we can take something and make something good out of it. That we cannot buy expensive players. And that brings me to the point about, do you want a CDM or a good midfielder? I think in any case, we shouldn't, a proper team shouldn't need a CDM. If you have 2 really good midfielders, that should be enough to carry the team. Unfortunately, we don't have the money to buy these really good midfielders. And, in that case, we need to put a CDM in there that can score, hopefully, and complement it with that. So, in an ideal world, we wouldn't even need a CDM, if you ask me. a Getson that could contribute to the defense
Last year,
together with
good point you're making. Last year, we also had Thailand and we had Getson, and we were playing pretty well towards the end of the season. So it is possible, like you said, to do okay with a not so great CDM if you have two good, midfielders pulling their weight.
Yeah, I was about to say that, like a good team not needing a CDM at all. I think that is I would say a wrong statement, because it depends on what formation you use, what tactics. I mean, most good teams do have like a proper DM. If you think of the players like, I don't know, Fabinho, Rodri, I mean, those are like true CDMs in a way. But yeah, if you would ask me as well, I would also say that we should go for proper 6, since it is such a crucial position, and it's basically he plays solo as well in that position, right? In our system, I think we mostly go for a 4-1-4-1 formation, which means that, well, the DM is on his own in a way, and having a stable, experienced option in this Pulgar guy would be the right thing to do. And another thing to add is indeed the financial situation. I believe that for Getson, they want, I mean, we can loan him, but they want the mandatory buy clause, right? We need to pay 8.5 mil for him to be even able to loan him.
1.5.
Apparently that came down to
1.5 million.
7.5 last time.
I mean,
Yeah, one.
exactly, but still, it's like a total of 9 mil. While for Pulgar, if I got the rumors correctly, I think there's an option to buy, right? And it is 3 mil compared to 9, which is, in our current financial situation, is pretty big deal, if you ask me.
Yeah, and there's a theme with the players that are rumored to come. Gomis, you have Iñaka, Peña, and now you have Erick. All of them are free to come on loan. We're not paying a single loan fee. We're not paying a single transfer fee. That's not the case with Getson. Getson would cost us 1.5 million euros just to loan him for whether it's 6 months or a year and a half. It seems like we don't have that. I mean, the board was complaining about our financial situation for a little over a month now. All the reputable sources are saying we have a situation where we can't spend a lot of money. So I think this transfer, or this loan, fits that boat of not costing us a lot of money in terms of transfer fees. And just to go back to Emre's point about his history and how much he's playing, as a listener and somebody's partake, it's a good question, but I looked it up, and he was playing a lot last season. The reason why he's not playing a lot this season is because they loaned out Lucas Torreira from Arsenal. He's also a CDM, and this guy's been playing pretty much all of Fiorentina's games this season. So I also look at this Erick loan as kind of like what we say a fırsat transfer, an opportunity. And, that's something that we have to take advantage of. I was arguing before with one of you guys saying, who can we realistically bring here? Yes, I would like somebody who's more proven, who's younger, who's consistently playing as well. But who are you going to find like that's going to cost you 0 to loan out, that will want to come to Galatasaray and play more often than they're already playing? Because I mean, you can't find that case, because if a player is already playing where they are, why would they want to come to us? So it's a very tricky situation. We have only a couple of days left to register this. We have a brand new coach who has had very little time to see these players and how they pan out in different positions. I think, again, going back to that Tuzlaspor game, that's why we lost 6-2, because he's trying out these things. He's had very little time to see who plays where because of injuries, because of COVID. We have a financial situation. With all that into consideration, I think, this transfer makes sense on paper. Is it going to work out? I guess we'll see over the next 6 months.
This financial situation kind of got to question the board then. Why can't we make a single sale? Why can't we make a single sale? Like, I mean, is it not true? Do we have...
Who do you sell? Who do you sell? Tell
you
me,
can
who
sell.
do you right
you
now?
can't sell Luyendama. You can't sell nobody. You can't get. Yedlin
how
has
you gonna sell
1.5 year, like you said. He has a year and a half on his contract. You can't sell him for not even less than $1 million. You can't get any money from him.
Who's paying money for Luyendama, right? Like, would you want Luyendama? I mean, I thought I just heard you guys say that.
I'm
the
not
guy
only saying
is
him.
a bomb.
You can
Okay,
make.
so who else?
Yedlin, he has a year and a half in his contract. He's not bad. He performed well in the EL. Why can't you get a single penny from him?
I'm glad you said that because I think the reason why we let go of Yedlin was because him, along with a lot of other players, and going back to our financial situation, have money that's owed to them because we just have not been being able to pay these guys. It's year 2022 and we're still having this issue as a club. Unfortunately, this is reality, and this is something that a lot of Turkish clubs do. I believe Fenerbahce does it a lot too. But if you have a guy that you're not paying, instead of selling him for money, you say, all right, let go of whatever we owe you and leave for free. So we're not going to pay you the rest of your wages that we can't afford anyways, but we're also not going to pay you whatever, we owed you for the last 2, 3, 4 months. And this is more okay in a situation like Yedlin where we paid nothing for the guy. He came for free, right? So you didn't really lose a lot. I mean, in the Luyendama situation, yes, I think we should still try and get some money out of it, which is what we're trying to do, right? You loan the guy for 6 months. There's a 3 million loan, a purchase option. If that team can't afford it, you hope that one of the rich clubs in Saudi Arabia see this guy, like we did with Maicon back in the day, and somebody else buys him for 1 or 2 million. And then
let's hope that happens.
If not that,
I don't want to.
Yeah,
I don't want to go to the back. Let's go to the front because we don't want to continue speaking a whole 2 hours.
Yes.
Just to close off the midfield there, we have currently like 4 midfielders, and then the rumors are Jetson and Pulgar, and that's it. And for me, we need at least 2 extra midfielders there, and hopefully we can get Pulgar and Jetson or even someone else. I don't know. We had a few more names, like I saw Diawara. I saw, what else was it? Mangal from Stuttgart and Diawara from Roma. But I think time will tell. So hopefully we get something there, or else I don't see us being very good this upcoming 6 months.
Just to quickly add, right? So, yes, it would be ideal to get these guys, but we should also not forget the fact that there's a foreigner rule. Let's say we play with all these players that we would prefer on their position.
I want to get to that at the end.
Okay, never mind.
Just to do a count up about all the players and
right.
Yeah.
I was a bit ahead of schedule.
No, that's fine. You can do that. You're our historian, Sade. So this is something that excites me the most. Our wingers, actually. Out of the whole overview, I actually like the wingers that we have. So you want to get to the left or to the right?
Let's do right again.
I'm gonna go with left.
Why there?
Because I want to talk about Kerem. He's been amazing. He got hit by Marcao, which made him a man he is today. After they made up,
Adam and Dibi, right?
Exactly, made him the man he is today. So I think all of our players should fight each other and then make up. If this is the
all it takes is a good ass whooping.
Result. Probably, yeah. So Kerem is 23. I don't know if you guys peeked at his stats. He's been doing pretty well. Well, I don't want to talk too much about Kerem, but who else do we have on the left left winger? So we have Kerem, Babel, Arda Turan, and Barış Alper Yılmaz. So that's the 4 on the left. I don't know if you can count anyone else. Probably you can rotate between the right wingers. So I'll actually talk about both, left and right. So on the right, we have usually Emre Kılınç, Olcan Çağlayan, Sofyan Feguli, Olimpiu Morutsan, and that's in total 8 players on the wings that we have in the current squad. And then we have 2 loanees. Yunus Akgün, he's doing amazing. I've always liked Yunus Akgün, even when he was at Gala. He's 21 years old, academy player. He's rented to Adana Demirspor, and 24 games and 8 goals, 12 assists. That's pretty good stats-wise. And then we have Jesse Sekidika. I can never say
Jesse Sekidika.
Yeah, that doesn't sound very good. Anyway, 25 years old. He's at Belgium in Leuven, which was... never mind. I want to say that's where my ex lives, but I need to cut that out. My wife's listens. Yeah, I have to pay attention to what I say on the podcast. Anyway, so yeah, out of all these players, for me, useful players: Kerem Aktürkoğlu, 23 years old; Emre Kılınç, 27; Oğulcan, 25; and Olimpi Morutan, 22. Obviously, you can put them in center midfield as well. They have some versatility. For me, Feguli, it's done. 32 years old. Ramadans are over. We're not seeing him at that level anymore. And he's on a major wage. Like, if we can let go of Sofyan Feguli, I think he's like on 4 mil or something with secret bonuses and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see next year, hopefully, if Kerem doesn't get sold, together with Yunus. That'd be very interesting. So, who's your favorite player on the wings? I'm not going to ask Yasin. I'll ask Saleh first.
Okay. I mean, my favorite player, as for probably most, I would say, on the wing, is Kerem Aktürkoğlu. I just like the way he drifts. And as you mentioned before, after that beating from Marcao, he has definitely stepped up his game. In the past, I would say he sometimes needlessly tried to dribble past players or, add some flair to his game, which he, instead of doing that, he could have like passed to like a teammate. But yeah, this season it's just been very solid in Europe as well, in the league too. Yes, I do notice that he can be wasteful at times and miss sitters, but at the same time, that happened to most of our players this season. So not sure if it's like his fault solely. But yeah, I like Kerem most. I would say Emre Kılınç gets a shout as well. I know he hasn't had as much playing time, but whenever he's on the ball, he's just a very safe player. He doesn't do weird shit with the ball. He usually keeps it, doesn't lose it unnecessarily. The disappointing one would be, for me, Morutan. Not saying that he's bad, but I think we've discussed this in previous pod probably as well. But the way he started was was very bright, and he has some nice tricks to his game, right? But as of late, I feel like because he has been benched a few times, he lost his confidence, and therefore he's been kind of underwhelming. He either tries too hard or just loses the ball too often, which I really don't like, especially since our right backs were Yedlin and Boe, which defensively aren't the best either, which meant that flank usually was pretty exposed to our opponents. But what do you guys think?
I was just going to add on to what you were saying about Kerem. Ever since that, ass whooping from Marcao, and remember why he, had the whole fight with him in the first place. He was complaining that Kerem wasn't, after he lost the ball, he wasn't, tracking back to get the ball back. And ever since that, he has improved significantly in that aspect. He's actually running back, tracking back, helping the defense. And like you said, he's not, making stupid plays like he would before. He's actually trying the 1-2s with passing, with the the wing backs. And he's made a significant, improvement since that day. And I would actually say, I would agree with you, he's my player of the season. Because when he's not playing, we completely are just not creating anything up front.
Exactly. I think his passing has been really good this season. He had some amazing through balls, left and right. Mm-hmm. He didn't do that last season. And as you said before, once he's not playing, once, I don't know, a Babel comes in, or who else, maybe Barış or whatever, you can definitely feel the difference.
I'm surprised Marco hasn't beat the shit out of Thailand yet.
Why?
What do you mean, why? He keeps making mistakes in the center midfield.
Yeah, just want to make sure.
How dare you ask that? Exactly. He said why.
Marcao was just waiting for him to actually say something to him, so he has an excuse to beat the shit out of him, I think.
Yeah.
He needs some finger pointing. What's your favorite duo on the wings, John?
Well, Kerem, of course, that goes without saying. And as of lately, Emre has been really good. I mentioned in the last couple episodes, I really liked him playing in his actual position on the wing and not centrally. So I think he's been doing really well there. I am a fan of Barish as well. I think he's really good. I think he has a lot of potential, but maybe he's not quite there yet. So I would probably stick with Kerem and Emre for the remainder of the season. And one thing I wanted to mention as well with Morutan, I think like I actually never wanted him to play on the wing ever. I like when he plays centrally, like higher up the pitch. In more of a number 10 role. I like him playing there more. I think he's really creative.
We tried, and he seems to be more effective on the wing. That
was my observations too.
Yeah, like I would like see it's a little bit difficult now. I'd like for him to be given more chances there, but it's probably not going to happen. Like with Chikaldao and Berkan and probably a new midfielder coming in, that's probably not going to happen, which is fine. But I like him better centrally. I don't really like him on the wing. He's not a good winger for me. But he's still young. He's 22, so we'll see what happens and how he develops. But I would like it where possible. I would like to see him play a little more central to see how that goes. But in terms of partnerships and where we're at right now, I think Kerem and Emre are probably our best duo.
Isn't that a bit recency bias? We've seen Feghouli really good on the wing. Olcan has been good before his whole Rizespor issue. Babel I cannot even mention.
Even though he's Dutch, man. Sheesh, that's telling you something.
Nah, I'm not biased.
Yeah, just Feghouli is just, as you said before, I think he's just done. He's too old. He's not really a winger anymore. Like centrally, I think he still could have a place because of his experience. He does have good vision, and he can also give like a nice through ball. But on the wing, I don't want to see him, as you said before. And Olcan, it's unfortunate, his situation. From the times that we have seen him, he's been pretty alright, and he's Turkish as well, not too old. He's 25, as you said, I think. So I think he still has a place in the squad, but yeah, actually now that I think of it, if Yunus does come back and we already have Morutan over there and Emre Kılınç, we might have already been stacked enough over there. Actually,
well, that's a whole other thing. Like if Yunus comes back, then he should go right. He should slide right into the starting 11. Like the way that he's developing and the way that he's playing, him and Kerem that is like an explosive combination. I'm dying to see that. So
is he playing a formation at Adana that would suit how we play at Gala?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
What kind of winger is he playing?
Yeah, I mean, whenever I do watch Yunus play, he is always in those wide positions, and look, like that. That is his that is where he makes his bread and butter. That's where he makes his living there, and he's doing really well. I'm really happy to see that, and I think that him and Kerem, they have some similarities in like the pace that they play at, like that speed going forward, and like we don't really have that on both sides. Like when Kerem is playing, if we have Emre on the other side, he's not really that player. He's not like that explosive player that Kerem is. So I'd like to see, having that sort of thing on both sides would be really exciting to see. I'm not sure how he is defensively. I don't really have an opinion on that. I'd have to watch him a bit closer. Because that's another thing.
He's been doing good at Adana. Defensively, he's been contributing a lot.
That's amazing.
Something that he wasn't doing at Gala, contributing defensively, which is also, in my opinion, why he was left out.
Yeah, like I think because with Kerem, like that was my complaint. I thought he was really poor defensively, and I always said, like, just talking with you guys and other people privately, like, you can't have that in your wingers. You can't have wingers that just only want to attack. Like, football isn't played that way. So thankfully and lucky for us, Marcao had a bit of a word with him and seemed like he was able to improve that, which is good. So if Yunus has that as well, we know he has that attacking ability. If he has those defensive properties as well, then that is pretty exciting. I'm excited to see that going forward.
Yeah, and I think, Yasin, we fully skipped you. You have a few words to say on our wingers?
I mean, Samet, you asked a question, right? Can Yunus really fit, the way that he's playing at Adana Demirspor? Can he do that over here? My question back to you is, what are we doing over here? I mean, who's playing right back until now? Right wing. You have Emre Kılınç, finally an actual winger who's playing right wing. Before that, you had Feguli, you had Morutan, you had Olcan, who has rotated between, right back and striker. I think bring anybody who knows how to actually play right wing. Doesn't matter what their style is, it'll work on the right wing. And I think it'll work exceptionally well with us because we have a right back who's Sacha Bowie, who loves to make those, runs down the right side. And you have, Yunus, who likes to cut inwards, inverted winger. Same things I was saying last week about Ömer Bayram and Kerem. It applies here as well. And then you have Arda as well, who sometimes plays right wing as well. Barış, who hasn't really done much yet. I don't know. I would love to have Yunus Akgün right now. I think he would fit like a glove. But I'm okay with him finishing the loan at Adana Demirspor. I'm okay with continuing with Emre Kılınç and making the other guys work somehow. And just to add on to what everybody said, I agree with y'all. It's very simple. Emre Kılınç and Kerem, those two guys should be our wingers. I don't have any reason not to put those two guys as wingers over anybody else. Feguli, he can come in as a sub. That's about it. Babel, same thing. These guys should not be starting. Babel is way too stale. It doesn't have enough dynamic ability, in my opinion. He takes the ball, he kills the play. He just waits for the defender to come in front of him to make a move, toss a shoulder and go the other way, and then what? Pass it back to Thailand. You have Feguli, who starts on the wing. Next thing you know, he's talking with Thailand in this, the deep midfield position. These guys, they have no discipline on the wing. Kerem is finally that one guy in a while that we see actually has that discipline, has that urge to make the runs down the wing and also play as like a second striker. I wish we can transfer somebody like him. There were Solbakken rumors before. That kind of died out a little bit. Looks like our concentration's on the midfield, and rightfully so. But yeah, that's kind of it. I can't wait for Yunus to come back.
Yeah. And that's a good point you make. Did we have any rumors or confirmed transfers on the wings? I don't see any need for it, so I guess that's why
not
we
our
haven't
priority.
heard anything.
Midfield, like Yasin said,
No,
is
not at
definitely the priority.
Yeah, fully agree. And which brings us to the final position, and I'm gonna play some Aleyna Tilki now. Sen olsan bari.
Bafatin Bigomis. Go.
So, striker-wise, well, it's not a cup confirmation, kamuoyunu aydınlatma platformu, which we don't do apparently anymore, at least not in detail as we used to. But it's pretty confirmed. He's tweeted about it himself. Bafemti Gomis.
Bafetimbi.
He's coming. Bafetimbi. I'm sorry. All very difficult words. Excuse my French. I don't know where he's from. Is he Nigerian?
His original ethnicity? Yeah. I actually have no idea. To be really honest, I never looked it up.
Anyway, anyone know about the duration? Bafetimbi Gomis and the fee. He's coming to Gala.
Yeah. So it's free to come. He's a free agent. He's done with his prior club. So again, back to our previous assessment of what we can afford and what we can't. He was rumored to want 3 mil a year. So 1.5 mil for the next 6 months, and then 3 mil next year. I believe that was the case, and we were able to drop that quite a bit. I think the most recent rumor that I read was about 600K for the next 6 months. And 1.2 millish for the next year after that, which he's only guaranteed if he scores 10 goals the next 6 months, which I think he can do it. But, I believe that's the last thing that I heard.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I hate the fact that he's 36 years old and we are doing a save the day transfer. But he is a very clinical striker, which is what we're lacking. That clinical striker, like vurdum mu koyuyor. O tarz bir oyuncu. I'm not gonna switch to Turkish, sorry. So I don't mind him coming, but what I wanted to say is, okay, that's pretty much confirmed transfer. Besides him, we have Mustafa Mohamed, 24-year-old, playing at Afghan at the moment. He played against who today, actually?
Morocco.
Yeah, Morocco.
And they won.
He's Egyptian, right? So.
Yeah, and they won, right? So. That's good. I don't think he contributed much from what I saw. So, aside from Mustafa Mohamed, we have Mbaye Diagne, who's 30 years old. He's injured. He should be back in April. There are talks about freezing his contract and restarting his contract next year, so we can make room for foreigners and transfers that we need. And then Halil Ibrahim Dervishoglu, 22 years old, on loan from Brentford. Don't like the guy. Never liked the guy. That's just my opinion. And Ali Yavuz-Kol, who's more busy with his girlfriend and designer clothing than his football, apparently, because he's 21 and he's loaned out to, I think, Bandırmaspor, if I remember correctly. 15 games,
I thought it was
2
Ankara
goals.
Keçiören, but yeah, it could be that it changed. I don't know.
Anyway. Obviously, we all follow him here and there, Twitter, Instagram, and you can get an idea of the players who's working hard and not. So maybe a bit harsh on my side, but yeah. So we got currently four strikers.
You can count Bob as a striker too. Something like.
Yeah, you could.
I
Could.
agree with
True.
that.
True.
And don't forget about our best striker, which is not a striker, on loan at Alanyaspor, Emre Akbaba. He actually has 10 goals already, right?
I can't believe I didn't put him in the attacking midfield position. Yeah, I mean, he has good stats as well, for sure.
He's been doing immensely as a 10/8. I don't exactly know the position that he's being used at in the Alanya. But yeah, he has like 10 goals. That's insane. That's more than our strikers have in total. So, and he's not even a striker, so...
So, what do you guys think about Bafétimbi Gomis joining us?
I'm excited. I'm so hyped, actually. More hyped than I originally was. Dude, this guy knows Galatasaray. You know, he knows the league. He knows the club. He knows the fans. And my concern, just like you, Summit, was his age. You know, he's 36 years old. At 36, you're going to start to think about injuries. You're going to start to think about form. Can this guy do what he used to do? All these questions pop up, and rightfully so, especially right now when we're in a gençleşme period. In English, we call it, I guess, a period where we're trying to get younger players. It kind of doesn't make sense, right? It's a little hypocritical to what we've been doing the last 6 months. But again, I'm not going to talk about finances too much again, but this guy knows the club. If you look at his injury record, if I pull it up real quick, this guy, last year he was injured. He missed 1 game because of injuries, and that was coronavirus. Before that, last time his injury was in the 17-18 year season, and that was for a hamstring injury with us for 1 game. That's incredible. At this age, that injury question, check mark, no problem. His form, if you look at, he scored a ton of goals this season before he was let go from his last club on mutual agreement. He was scoring left and right, and not just like penalties or anything like that. This guy knows how to cut, with his hips, what he used to do so well. Beat defenders, break those defenders, and finish it with his left and right foot. This guy is still doing bicycle kicks. It's incredible. At this age, this guy is scoring all types of goals. And he's, I think, the type of guy that we need too. Halil, we like him for, that kind of false 9 role that he plays. But as we said last week, we're missing that striker who can sit around the 6, even maybe 8-10 yards, get the ball, beat a defender and finish it. That's what Gomez is known for. That's what he did with us when he broke, the goal record in Super League before Jugnet broke it somehow, some way. But that's what Gomez is known for, and I'm so hyped. Not just that, but the off-field, on-field presence as who he is. Gomez, the guy who knows the club. He's a leader. You see this in social media. You see the way that the fans interact with him. There are so many fans who have amazing relationships with this guy. Our entire staff, and when he was here, loved the guy. He's always doing something outside the club that bonds that relationship with outside of just the field. He can be a leader. He knows French. That's great for our French-speaking young guys like Bad Khan, Sacha Bowie. I can't wait. I really can't. I think he's going to do great and hopefully fix that goal scoring problem that we've been having so far.
Yeah, I'll jump in there. I think I pretty much agree with everything. Like Bafétimbi Gomis is a professional. I'll always give him that. He is a professional in the way he conducts himself, the way he is on and off the pitch. He's a professional. There's always some questions, and I don't know, I don't want to say shadiness, but some questions are asked when it comes to money. There's always something there, like he's asking for more or whatever the case is. So if the rumor's true and he will be playing for that small fee, and then if he scores a minimum of 10 goals, if he scores a minimum amount of goals, that will be improved. But that's good. I like that. And like I said, like Yasin mentioned, when he gets the ball there, in those dangerous areas, right outside the 6-yard box, in the 6-yard box, maybe even just inside the 18-yard box, he's no nonsense. He gets the ball and he finishes the ball. There's, like we saw with Halil this season, so many times he's in a dangerous position. He doesn't shoot the ball, or he passes the ball, or he'll lose the ball. And I don't necessarily dislike him. I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence about him. There's certain things I do like about him and other things I don't. But with Gomis, he's a striker, and he knows that, and he knows his position, and he has 1-2 touches in the box and finishes clean, no nonsense goals. He finishes the ball cleanly, and I like that about him. So it seems like if it's true, we've gotten over the money obstacle, which is good. And now, let's get him on the pitch. Let's see what he can do.
Well,
go ahead, Emre.
Okay, so I'm not against having Gomis on our team. I love Gomis. He did wonders for us. The only concern that I have is that he might take playing time away from Mostafa. And we saw last year when he was suspended and Falcao stepped in, Falcao just miraculously had a better, performance out of the blue, and then took away time from Mostafa, and he kind of lost form. And then you saw this back and forth with, him and Falcao, even Jugnet at times. And I don't know. I like Gomis, but I would have liked to have seen our midfield being completed before our striker, because I think we have enough strikers. And I was hoping that our scoring deficit would come with, Torrent being able to guide these players to being able to finish more, like clinically. Like John said, we need someone more clinical. But let's see. I just hope that it doesn't take away from Mostafa, because he is our future. In a sense.
Yeah. I believe in more stuff as well. Go ahead, Salih.
Yeah, I think now that I think more about it, I'm starting to be less and less and actually pro this signing. Our struggles last season were mainly the creativity. We weren't creative enough and not giving enough balls to our strikers, right? This season, however, we just can't finish. We are so wasteful in front of goal, and having someone like Gomis, who is proven, who has been at the club before, I think is a very good addition for our squad. Not only because, let's face it, we really need the points. We're 15th. We've never been this low, at least since I've been watching. I haven't seen us ever this low in the league. We do need points, and our number one problem has been just the conversion rate. It has been, I think we score like about 5 or 6% of our shots that we take. That is too low. It should be more around the 8 to 10% or even higher. And about Mostafa, yes, it is true that he is our future. However, I think Gomis could be nice competition to him. I think the other two strikers, Jagne, I haven't been a fan. I mean, it's not his fault that he costed, what was it again, 13 million. It's not his fault that we bought him for that money, but I never really liked him. Halil, as said by John before, he has good things, but also bad things. I think he would work better if our wingers were more clinical in a way, because he has good link-up play. But just like how John said before, he just takes that one extra touch too much or passes it unnecessarily. He's pretty shot shy, which is not what we need in a season where, well, we just can't seem to score. So I'm all for Gomes. It's just, again, the foreigner rule and all of that other nonsense that comes along. And next year as well, if he does score 10. I wonder how our squad will then, well, be like and formed, basically. So
Yeah, I hope our board and team is making the planning at least, so we know years ahead what's gonna be with the foreigners and what's gonna be with the Turkish players, etc. Because so we talked about the strikers. We only have 2 at the moment, with Gomes coming in. That's 3. We might freeze the Agnes contract, so we're back to 2 main strikers. Obviously, I'm forgetting Halil, who's on loan with us, so 3 in total. And Ali Yavuz, he's not with our team at the moment. So if we look at the total amount of foreigners, we have at the moment, I think, including Inaki Peña, which, by the way, just arrived in Istanbul. He just landed. His plane landed. So looking at that, we have 12 foreigners. And I can count those 12. So you have Fernando Muslera, Inaki Peña, Victor Nelson, Marcao, Sasha Bowe, Omar El Abdellaoui, Ryan Babel, Alexander Chikaldao, Sofian Feguli, Olimpiu Morutsan, Mostafa Mohamed, and Patrick Van Arnold. That makes 12. And then count Gomes there as well, that's 13. Which leaves us with only 1 more foreigner that we can transfer. Let's say we get Pulgar. But we, in my opinion, we need at least 2 midfielders. So I think, hopefully, either Babel or Feguli go. In my opinion, if we can get rid of Babel, that would be great, and then we can transfer 1 more. Because, then we have 13, Babel leaves, that's 12. We got two more for 2 midfielders. And just to make sure I have covered everything, so Jagne, we're freezing because he's injured, and next year he will be back. Luyendama is gone to Saudi Arabia. Yetlin was terminated. Well, and Ozor Nwafor, Sedikika, Asunkao are not with us. So that's rounds it all up. So we have 1 spot at the moment. Do you see any other player leaving Gala from the current squad, foreigner-wise, to make up another slot for transfer?
Probably Babel, like you said. I think that's the only one I can see.
There are rumors about Morton being loaned out. I don't know if it's true though.
But okay, so the
That's
question with Babel leaving is, would he want to leave? He earns a lot of money, just like Feguli. They're both on 3-4 mil plus. Yes, their contracts do end this year, but yeah, it's at the end of the season, not right now, obviously. So I hope, like, Babel would go, but I highly doubt he'll want to leave. So personally, I don't think anyone actually will leave. Like, not at the expense of guys. Yeah, maybe, even though I don't think the rumor is true or whatever, I see it more likely that the Morutan or something is being loaned out than actually Babel or Feguli leaving, because they're on such
I wouldn't
high
mind that.
wages.
I wouldn't mind Morutan being loaned out, actually.
He's our second choice winger, though, right?
Yeah,
if he does go,
I'm against that.
Yeah, if he does go, who do we then have? because we're not going to bring Yunus back, or unless you want to see Feghouli on the
Olcan,
wing or Olcan.
Feghouli.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm fine.
I don't know. I don't know what you guys think about that, or who
I
you
think
guys think. will leave.
Morutsan still needs to be cooked a bit. He needs some consistent game time, in my opinion.
Yeah. Because Feghouli sitting on the bench isn't really going to cut it if he's going to earn all that money.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Yasin.
I have a lot of thoughts. As for like Babel and the whole money situation, it depends on how much Torrent plans to play him. Let's say we have 16 games left. If he sees him as like a 5-10 minute sub, as not a starter, if he sees two guys ahead of him as a wing or as a striker, it might make sense to let go of Bubble and pay some of his wages. Let's say the guy has $10, right, that he earns over the next 6 months with us. If you find a club that pays him, let's say 7, then you pay Bubble, 4 or 5. Just say, okay, take the money and leave, and let the remaining money that you're supposed to receive, just let it go. So you're paying less money over the next 6 months. You're not getting any use out of him, but you weren't going to get any use out of him anyways. So it depends on what Torrent plans to use him for. Last game,
Adam Corpo, yeah.
I think last, I think last game we saw Bubble play as a striker, right? And I think that's he's more suited to that position too, just because of how slow he is. Bubble has that confidence and that instinct to shoot whenever he can. Bubble can take that ball down and find the far post. We've seen it many times. So I like that play. And with that said, I'm going to transition into something that is kind of a hot take, but I did see it on Twitter, so it's not my idea. Mohamed being loaned out. Mohamed, hey, listen. Mohamed being loaned out because Gomis is here now, and Gomis is in form. Gomis is not injured. Are we planning to play a two-man striker formation? I don't think so. I didn't see any rumors for it. I didn't see anything that kind of indicates that. So if Gomis is here, and Emma, you asked this question before, rightfully so. What's Mustafa gonna do now? Gomis is here. Let's say he finds form, which I think he will. Where the fuck is Mustafa gonna play? Is he gonna be a second striker? I mean, that's what we have Khalid for. Are we going to play two strikers that are both foreign at the same time? I don't think so. Is Gomis going to rotate with Mohamed? I don't think so. Is Mohamed in form? No, he's not. Wouldn't a loan potentially make sense for that reason? Mohamed finding his form somewhere else would make money. Yes.
What if Gomis does not perform and he gets injured? Just say, crazier things have happened. Who are you going to rely on? Because you're not going to have Jugna. You're literally only going to have Halil.
What if you keep Jugna?
He's going to be back April, and you don't know how his form is going to be like. And by then, the league's almost already over.
Is it April?
That's what they were saying, yeah.
Then that's risky.
That's what I'm saying.
It is risky.
Well, you got Babel. If he doesn't want to leave, Babel can play.
Yeah, that's, yep. Yeah, Babel. You can play that
Babel,
too.
Halil.
I mean, it's a good counter argument. It is risky, but there's a lot of risky things in our team, as we just discussed over the last hour.
We managed to play with just Eren Derdiok as our sole striker for a whole season.
Do you want to go back to that? Because I don't want to go back to that.
Yeah. I mean, I saw the loan. I saw the rumor, so I kind of want to play with that and kind of get your thoughts on it too. But, I wouldn't be surprised just because we've seen the rumor many times. He was supposed to leave last year, or I think in the summer, to French club
Bordeaux. Yeah.
That didn't work out last minute, and we haven't seen him in great form recently. Unfortunately, Torrent hasn't had a single training session with him yet because of the Africa Cup of Nations, the World Cup qualifiers over there. So I wouldn't be surprised. Just like Samet did with the whole Draxler, or who was the rumor randomly last time. I'm going to say Barkley.
Ross Barkley.
I won't be surprised if Mohamed ends up leaving on loan for a little bit of money, that foreign spot, and maybe even opening up room for a player like Jetson. Just, food for thought.
A small note, by the way. It is not the qualifiers. It is indeed the Africa Cup of Nations. It's like their own Euros in a way.
Okay.
Yeah, just to point out, I'd probably say stuff that is probably not correct as well. Anyway, on the thing though, I think I do hear what you're saying, because yes, Gomes is in form. He'll probably take the spot. I still think it's too risky given his age. Yes, he's not injury prone, but I think even when Falcao came, we also said he wasn't injury prone, and we saw how that worked out. However, also I do agree, however, with the fact what you said before, that we'll definitely not use him in a two strikers with Momo and Gomes. I don't see how that would be compatible, in my opinion. But I would personally still keep Momo. And just, I don't know. I just hope that like Babel leaves, just like how he said before, just pay part of his wages, just get rid of the deadwood. He's not really of use anymore, and hope to solve it that way. And that is only, of course, if the two midfielders do actually come, because that's the idea that we have in our heads. But it seems like just Pulgar's gonna come, from the looks of it.
Inshallah, we get something in the midfield, because we're really bare boned over there.
And
so
another thing, just a small side note: Canada is up 2-0 for the American boys.
Ooh.
Just have to say it out there.
congratulations, John.
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry.
See everyone at the
football
World
isn't
Cup.
our sport.
Yeah,
Turkish
What'd you
before I'm
say,
American, so that's it.
Oof.
yeah, I know you say that, of course.
I'm gonna tell what's it, Joe Biden,
Sleepy Joe.
snitch.
Sleepy
Yeah,
Joe
yeah,
Biden.
yeah. All right, guys. Damn, I have work tomorrow. So, anyway, for the listeners that have been able to listen for so
You're
long,
the true MVP.
props to you. Yeah, true MVP. We're gonna round it up. We talked about every position basically of our squad, all the transfer rumors that are currently going on, and the foreign rule implication that it has on our transfers, on the future, and so on. So I'd like to thank the listeners. And if you want to react, as usual, you can find us on Twitter or Instagram with the handle at TheLionsDenGS. And look forward to any messages, feedback, anything basically. So feel free to do that. And let's close this episode off with a nice known ending.